Welcome to Fresh Catholic, a podcast for those who are converting, reverting, or simply want a fresh perspective of the Catholic faith to help them to open their hearts and minds to become closer to the love and goodness of Christ. My daily prayer is that I will be a bright light to others, to be filled with the love and light of Christ, so that when people look at me, they see Him radiating out from me for His glory. Hello and welcome. I'm Lori Balderas, and I'm so happy you're here. It's a Christmas miracle. Simon Balderas is here. Simon,
Yeah.
you're here. It's a Christmas miracle. Mm-hmm. Thank you for coming today.
Yeah.
I know you've come a long way.
Yes.
He drove hours and hours to get here, and here he is, and just thank you for coming. I know that you have a lot going on, and as we all do, but I really appreciate you coming for our Christmas episode. Now this is, I think, our third Christmas episode.
Yeah.
So we are Christmas 2025. Here we are.
Yeah.
And next week we will be doing our New Year's episode. So make sure you tune into that as well. We'll be doing a little recap of the year, and we'll be talking about our future plans that are coming up quick. Mm-hmm. We have a future ahead of us, as we all do, God willing. But I just mean that we're going to tell you about our future plans, tell you where we're at with those. And so that's exciting.
Yes.
So Christmas 2025. Before we get started on Christmas, we've just had Advent.
Yes.
And I hope Advent's gone well for everybody. I love Advent. I would say the last 2 years of Advent, I have been very lax and remiss. Not because I want to be, but, I just, what I really love about Advent is the calm, where you're supposed to have the calm thoughts and and not be rushing around so much, making things more thoughtful. I personally absolutely love the Advent wreath with the candles, because I think 1 year when we did it here in this house, I really liked it because we actually did what we were supposed to be doing with the Advent wreath. And it's just, every week, for those of you who don't know, are new to the Catholic faith, we set up a wreath, and it has little holders for the candles. There's 3 purple and 1 rose color. And you're supposed to light them on Sunday night, and you can do a prayer. You can sing. I think some families pray, they sing. Yeah. And it's just like, it's really beautiful because it's supposed to kind of take it down a notch. Okay. So like you could do it before dinner on Sunday during Advent. Yeah, it's really pretty and it's really nice, but we haven't done that the past 2 years, and I've missed it. Yeah. So let's make a goal and a plan for next year that we do it.
Okay,
for sure.
That sounds good.
Because I do think it's nice. Did you do anything special for Advent? Anything is better than nothing.
Well, I created a whole series with Charles Merritt.
Advent.
Yes.
Oh, there's that.
Yeah. We did a 4-episode
small thing.
A 4-episode series, 4 hours worth of information that Charles Merritt gave, and it was amazing. It was different than we did the year before, so I did that. And I think that, beyond that, it has been more of like a mindful thing. So it's been like a mindful Advent for me. I've added some additional meditations and prayers during my weeks during this season.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. Mm-hmm. I added 1 prayer that I've been doing every day.
Okay.
And it's I think it's the prayer to, I'm probably going to get this wrong. Is that St. Andrew?
St. Andrew. Okay.
St. Andrew Novena. Anyway, I've been doing that. Okay. And the Advent series, that was really good. And I do like that it's different than last year. Yeah. So if you haven't tuned into that, it's not too late. You can go back and listen to that and watch it.
Binge watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Binge it. That's what you should do over the Christmas break.
Yeah. And Charles is such a good teacher. He's just so really clear, and it's like real applicable to our modern daily life.
Yes, yes. So one thing I did do for Advent is our staff went on an Advent retreat. And more and more, I'm not really doing as much at the church and doing as much with the staff. You know, my last day is New Year's Eve as my job at the wedding coordinator at Our Lady of the Assumption Church. But we took time to go do this Advent retreat, and we went to, I think I want to call it a convent, but maybe that's not the right term, so don't be mad at me, Deacon Don, if I got that wrong. But nuns live in this place, so that's why I guess I'm calling it that. But it was really nice. It was the staff, and it was put on by Rosario, who is our Spanish deacon, our Spanish-speaking deacon's wife, and she did the whole retreat. And it was just, I have to just say, it was really nice. It was really needed for, I'll just speak for myself. I think everybody enjoyed it, but it was really needed. And I was really happy to go and spend some just like contemplative time.
Yeah.
Rosario had some really good prompts of things for us to discuss.
Okay.
We broke off in different types of groups throughout the day. And then my favorite part actually was going outside, sitting in this, they have like a little garden area.
Yeah.
And we all kind of like had our own little spot. And I started, when we went out there, I started praying and then I stopped. And all I did was sit in silence and look at nature. And just really focus on the nature for the time we were sitting out there. And I was thinking, you know, we all need to do more of that, of just like stopping what we're doing. You know, I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't thinking about other things. I consciously said to myself, look at these different things that are all God's given us these beautiful gifts. And when we're all rushing around, we're not stopping to look at that beautiful flower or to watch. I was watching the clouds drifting by. Just watching that. And I was just thinking, like, God is so amazing. Like, he's such the most beautiful, amazing artist in his animals, in his creatures, in his insects, in the clouds and things like that. And we are always like so busy on our phone or rushing around. We don't even know.
Well, you know, it's so easy to not just get distracted, but become overwhelmed by the world that we live in. It's kind of like living in a big city where there's bright lights, and they call it light pollution, where everything's so kind of lit and bright in neighborhoods and so forth. And when you look up at the sky, you can't even see the stars, you know? But when you go out into nature, like into the mountains or something, go camping, whatever, and you look up and the stars are so vivid and you could really immerse yourself in God's creation. So that focused time for you when you had that quiet and you said, you know what, I'm going to enjoy God's creation, kind of what you're saying, I think is super important. But it's hard in our world that we live in because this, I don't know, light pollution or world pollution, however you want to call it, we're just so distracted sometimes by that.
Well, we're living in chaos, not just us. Like the world is living in chaos, and it's like fascinating when you say that about the stars, because it's like then you go out in nature, you go, hey, when did all those get there? Like wait a second, what happened? And it's very true. And the other thing I was thinking when I was sitting out there in nature is, gosh, it's been 3 years ago now, I think. Let's see. 3 years ago, I stopped going on my walks at the beach. And I used to do a like 3.5 mile walk every day but Sunday at the beach. And I would breathe in that air. I would take in nature. I was interacting with people on my walk, you know, like saying hi. I was just like noticing nature. And I'm missing that. I haven't been able to do that in 3 years.
Wow.
My body is suffering from that. My mind is suffering from that. I used to pray on that walk. It was like my concentrated time of just, there was no there were distractions, but I had my headphones in listening to like I would listen to Andrew Petraka, our music director. I have the Divine Mercy that he sang, and I'm sure I'm the one that's given it all of its views on YouTube because I love it. But I'm missing that because, we shouldn't have to wait for Advent to try to have some peace and focus on God and nature in our, it is a good moment. It's kind of like during Lent, when we all really change what we're doing and we become more reverent and we become, we eliminate a lot of things in our life during Lent. We don't have to wait for Lent and Advent to give our Lord our focus and put aside time to have this time alone with him. This is one of the things I'm looking forward to our future. Yeah. Is not having so much. One of the things I learned during the Advent retreat, I don't even know how this came up, but it came up in my mind. It didn't necessarily come up in the retreat, was my prayer life isn't what I want it to be.
Okay.
And I always know it and I kind of complain about it to myself, but I need to change my prayer life. Yeah. And I pray and pray and pray, but I want to change how I pray. Okay. So that was the thing. My takeaway kind of from that Advent retreat was to focus on nature more, focus on just absorbing God's beautiful presence that we do just either take for granted or don't have time for, or we have our head down. Yeah. And also to my New Year's goal this year is going to be to change my prayer life. Okay. So, yeah. So, and I know you're thinking, gosh, so you pray all the time.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I know you do pray all the time. I have such a different reaction to the chaos, I think. Oh. It pulls me more into prayer because it's such a abrasive, the chaos just it rubs me so wrong. I'm not built for that for some reason. It's just not in my nature to be a part of the rat race, I guess. I don't know. And so I just kind of shrink back. That's my tendency anyways. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's kind of my take on Advent. And I really loved that Advent retreat. It was very needed. And I thought the day went really beautifully. We had lunch with the sisters. We had Mass with Father Daniel, who I really love as a priest. Yeah. I think he's so reverent, and I really appreciate that about him. I need priests like that in my life. Yeah. So I really do value him. And Deacon Don, of course, was there, and I value Deacon Don. So anyway, so that was great. Now we're going to talk about Christmas. Okay. So I know we did a little pre-interview, you and I. Yeah. I think our pre-interview is going to be longer than our episode, but okay. No, I don't think so. But I know you and I have kind of differing things about Christmas, differing memories, differing things that our history with Christmas, our experiences with Christmas. And so I think, I encouraged Simon to just, when we're talking about this today, to just kind of say that, the truth of the matter. I think that's how we run our podcast here. And I feel we have so many listeners now, and we don't know everybody's story. Right. But I do feel we try here at Fresh Catholic to be honest, to be, upfront. We don't know who we're helping, who we're reaching out to, who might need to hear a certain thing. Right. I don't know about you, but sometimes when I'm listening to other podcasts or things or seeing things online, and it'll be just a statement, and I'll go, wow, I really needed to hear that today. I really needed to see that statement and know that I'm not alone. I really need to know that there's other people out there who have suffered or are suffering, and we all are latching on to God, and He's going to get us through it. And for the people that don't have God in their life, that we pray for them, that they will have Him in their life, because He's the one that helps me through everything. I mean, I honestly don't know what I would do if I didn't have the Lord in my life. But anyway, so we're going to talk about Christmas, and I'm going to ask you questions, and then we'll see how this goes. Okay. Anyway, so it's going to be fine. Okay. So what do you love about Christmas? Like just in general.
In general?
Like not when you were a kid, not now, just like in general, like what do you love about it? What's the thing that
I think I love the spirit of Christmas, and it's not about ourselves. It's more about giving of ourselves to other people. And that's established in a lot of different traditions for Christmas specifically. It's about giving. And I think that's so important because there's so many needy people who are such in need of receiving. And I'm not talking about like gifts or monetary things, but just love and spirit of Christmas and to be recognized, all of those things. So I think that's what I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm very similar in the fact that I think, a lot of people like Christmas for whatever, they all have their own reasons, but I'm in the same exact boat with you, but I'll add to it a little bit.
Okay.
I think I love Christmas because I feel it changes people for the better.
Okay.
I know that sometimes people have they go crazy at Christmas or whatever and they're whatever.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I would say my overall sense of Christmas is it changes people. Mm-hmm. It brings out charity in people. Yeah. It brings out kindness in people. Yeah. It brings out joy in people. And I agree with you that there's people that need that attitude. Yeah. Yeah. And what's too bad is that when Christmas is over, it doesn't continue.
Right.
And that's a very, I can't think of the word I want to use. That's a very stereotypical thing to say of when Christmas is over, everybody, it's it's only at Christmas time, everybody's in that mood and everybody should stay in that spirit. Yeah. They should. Yeah. They should stay in that spirit because that's the beautiful part about it is it kind of everybody becomes kinder and nicer and more giving and they donate a lot or they donate of their things and their time and their money.
Right.
But people need care and love and attention all year.
Yeah. Yeah.
They suffer the rest of the year because people don't keep continuing. Yeah. So if you're going to teach your children, say, to be charitable at Christmas time, maybe as a family, come up with a plan for every month. Yeah. What can we do every month for the Christmas spirit all year? Yeah. Right. And then it ends with the grand finale of Christmas and we do the biggest thing then.
Yeah. Just as you're saying that, it kind of reminds me of, well, first of all, I think during this season, I think people are, especially people who are really hurt and maybe even bitter about a lot of things, Christmas and seasons and maybe, they have strife in family or whatever, but they're more open to receiving. And it reminds me of Charles Dickens' story, I don't know, whatever, his story.
Christmas Carol,
and how Scrooge was so closed off and separated from the world. And all he loved his money, but then all of a sudden there was a little crack in him, and he became open to really understanding what the true meaning of Christmas is.
Same with the Grinch.
Yes, well, yeah. Yeah, modern day Scrooge. Yes.
Yeah, so I think, that might be a good idea for people. That could be even something where, as a family, if you sit down and say, again, I don't believe in New Year's resolutions, but if you were to say, as our family goal for the year, let's continue the Christmas spirit all year, and let's come up with a family plan and stick with it. Like plan it out and make something that you can do every month. Going to feed the homeless in this month. Doing a charity run, where you raise money. I don't know, come up with different things for each month and each season as a family. I just came up with that off the top of my head today.
That's good.
Look at that. It's not even in my notes. No notes. Anyway, so I think you and I are on the same page about, that I think people just act different and they, they have that Christmas spirit, which is beautiful.
Yeah. But I'm talking about the hurting people too.
No, I know.
Yeah.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
What do you struggle about Christmas? When you think about Christmas and you go, oh, that's the part I really don't care for.
We'll be right back. What does it mean to live a life of faith? What does it mean to live as a Catholic Christian? Hi, this is Bishop Kevin Sweeney, host of the podcast Beyond the Beacon. Join me as we unravel and discuss the mysteries of our faith, of the church, of living as Catholic Christians. Be inspired by engaging interviews with priests and seminarians, deacons, religious, women and men who live the life of faith day by day here in our Diocese of Patterson, in food pantries and classrooms and parishes and ministry. How is God working in their lives today? How is God working in our lives? Join me as I ask them and be part of the conversation on Beyond the Beacon. Listen and follow Beyond the Beacon wherever you get your podcasts or watch it on my YouTube channel. Please check the show notes for more details. Thank you and God bless you.
Well, I mean, the top of the list is probably just the superficiality of Christmas. That's what I struggle with. It's kind of a meaningless thing. It's more about, it's a time to get stuff, and I think that's kind of meaningless. I won't remember, any of those things. So it robs the people of meaning, the true meaning of Christmas. And that I struggle with that,
Yeah. Well, and I think I feel very much the same way of the superficiality of it all. The fact that if you're really honest and you think back like over your lifetime and you go, if you were to think, oh, my favorite thing about Christmas was, and you could name every present you got for every year. And if that's what you remembered, to me, that would be very telling if that's all you remembered. But actually, I can't pinpoint. I mean, I kind of can. There's like a few things that I can say, oh, well, I loved this or I loved this.
Yeah.
But it's really more the overall view of Christmas.
Right.
It's like, those are the things that I think are, what I remember, like not, oh, well, I love it that, there was this bot that, like we did this. But I struggle with the chaos of it all.
The chaos.
And I do struggle with the whole thing of it's just all about the presents you get and you're ripping through them to get to the next one. Mm-hmm. And, it's never enough. And then 1 month later, if you say, well, what did that person give you? And you can't remember.
Yeah.
That's, that it's more geared towards that.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do really love about the Christian faith, the Catholic faith, is that Christmas is about the birth of our Lord.
Yeah. The
whole story of his birth is so beautiful, so amazing. Every year when I hear it, and you hear it over and over and over, but I believe like with everything we hear and read in the Bible, every time you hear it, if you really are stopping and really listening, even though I've heard this 1,000 times, if you can really stop and listen, and, it changes as you age, as your situation changes in your life, the things going on in your life, different things stick out. That's why Lectio Divina is so beautiful, because, you take a portion. Like that's one of the things we did in our Advent retreat is Father Daniel did his homily a little bit different, made it interactive. And so they read the gospel, Deacon Don read the gospel, and then he read it again. And we were supposed to say what stuck out to us, what phrase or what word. And so it's like, I think that's really important to do that, because that story is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's just like a miraculous, beautiful, amazing story. And I learned things this year about that story that I hadn't really thought of before. Like, they weren't stuck out in the manger because they were being shunned. There was no room in the inn. Like that's where they had to go. That's where they were meant to go. He was meant to be born as, very under the radar, like this, he's a king and he's being born so that he's like us. He's like one of us, and he was so humble. That's the most humble way. I'm not laughing because it's funny, but the most humble way for him to be born. And he's the king.
You're right.
Of all, of everything, forever. And that's how he was born.
Yeah.
like we were all born,
Yeah.
like naked and, cold. And I mean, it was cold. But anyway, I just think, anyway, that's my point about, I just think so we have similar things we love and similar things that we stand with. But one of the things that I truly, truly love about Christmas and holidays in general are the traditions.
Wow.
I love traditions. I love, I was raised with many traditions. I then raised my children with those traditions, but then their dad and I made up new ones. And then, God willing, they're being passed down. But one of the things I really wanted to talk about today is traditions and how important they are. And before we get into that conversation, we're going to go to a break.
Okay.
We'll be right back. What is happening at Fresh Catholic? Thanks for asking. Well, we have a weekly podcast with lots of topics and guests, and Fresh Catholic Daily, the daily Mass readings. Listen on all platforms and watch on YouTube. I also do short videos every day on Instagram and Facebook at Fresh Catholic. Like, share, subscribe, rate, and review. These are such simple ways to help us out. The other ways you can support our mission of drawing people to the faith or back to the faith are by becoming a Patreon or sponsor. Also simple, but so needed. Our website, freshcatholic.com, has an online store with merchandise, a blog, comics, and Fresh Catholic courses with educator Charles Merritt, with the Hail Mary, the Our Father, the Virtues, the Ascension, the Magi, the Visitation, the Ten Commandments, Sacraments and Grace, Sin, Advent, Angels, Lent, Typology, and even some Bible study courses. Wow, that's a lot. Please share all of this with everyone you know and join the Fresh Catholic family. And remember, be focused, be faithful, and be fresh. Oh, wait, one more thing. Our typology series by educator Charles Merritt is feeling very unloved. I know, I get it. You see or hear that word, typology, and your eyes glaze over. You stifle a yawn. You might think to yourself or even say to others, dry, boring, too Old Testament-ish for me. If that's you, then you're missing out because typology connects the promise of Jesus in the Old Testament and the arrival of Jesus in the New Testament. It's like putting scripture under a microscope and seeing things you never saw before. So head to our website, freshcatholic.com, and give typology some love and attention. You will be amazed. And we're back. Okay, so traditions. So I don't know if all of you out there are aware of this. I get an email, so I don't know how I get this email. I must have signed up for it. And it's called Catholic Loop, L-O-O-P. And it's like Catholic news every day. So I read it. It's like, it has to do with all kinds of things, anything that's related to Catholicism that's in the news, even if the president is doing something, if there's laws being passed, if there's crimes being committed that might be of interest to Catholics. So they have all sorts of things in this email I get. So sign up for it if you don't already. And there was a woman, Johanna, I'm probably saying her name wrong, Johanna, I'm going to say Duncan, and John Gottman, who's a psychologist. So she's a journalist, he's a psychologist. And she wrote an article and he did a study on traditions. And it really it pulled me in because I love traditions. And in the article, they're talking about how we're losing traditions, how we as a society are losing traditions. And I was thinking, I feel that's very true. I think that unless we took on traditions and unless we are passing on traditions, they're going to die. They're just going to die. And this goes for other things too. Like I was telling you earlier, children not knowing nursery rhymes or knowing how to play simple games, card games, tiddlywinks, pickup sticks, jacks, hopscotch, simple things. If you sing a song to a child, they should know the Itsy Bitsy Spider. They should know, which, some of these mushrooms are a bit horrifying, actually. But that's how we teach traditions, is by passing them on. So if we're not doing that, it's going to die. And that's not good because, so anyway, in this article, and I'm going to refer to notes because I think this was just so valuable information. And it does have to do with Christmas. It has to do with family life. It has to do with holidays. It has to do with our faith because our faith is a tradition.
Yeah.
We're not just some random church that somebody came up with out of the blue and they're just like, hey, this is what we're going to do today. And we don't really have a reason why, but this is why we're doing, So, but they were saying that traditions are built consciously, lovingly, and they have to do with consistency. Okay. And they don't have to be perfect. Like they can be works in progress. Like I said, there could be traditions passed down, but then you kind of add to them or kind of say, well, that part's not working. We're going to do this. That's okay. That's okay to come up with new traditions. And at the end of this episode, I'll give you some ideas of how you can do that. But anyway, the reason that they're doing this study is they're showing that rituals and routines are one of the strongest predictors of long-term family stability. So I thought that was really important because in this day and age, many families are divided. Back in the old days, families were together. Grandma and grandpa maybe lived in the house with the family. Aunts and uncles maybe lived close by. Cousins were everywhere. Not a lot of people are having that these days. And that's, we're struggling with that. These things are anchors that remind us of who we are, where we come from, and who we belong to. So I think that's important because traditions have to do with culture. They have to do with family dynamics and culture. And I think that's really important. So kids know, oh, I'm, Native American, or, oh, I'm of a Hispanic heritage, or, Latin, or, my mom's British. So, it's like, what are the different things that people do based on their heritage and their culture? I think that's really important to teach children why this is important to our culture and where did this come from? Why do we do it? Traditions create shared meaning. They give children a sense of security and strengthen bonds between spouses, siblings, and generations. So I think that's really important to, again, build up family life. This is one of my things I want to work on in the new year is helping people's marriages and families stay together and work through problems and try to become more united. And traditions have a lot to do with that. You have a shared experience when you're growing up. You might have a different idea about it, but you've all done the same things and that's something that you share, which is kind of beautiful. Like I think I might have said this before, but my children are very close in age. So they all went to the same school and consequently they would do the same projects. Like, if you were in 4th grade, you would do this project and then my next child would come along and do the same project. And I have boxes of all their school, not all their school stuff. I weeded it down, but I could see when they had done the same project and they would comment, like they'd be writing about Christmas, like saying their experience. So they'd all done the same thing because they were in the same family and we all did the same thing. But I love to see what their take was. So it's like that, where they all these things in common, but they have a different experience. So it's kind of cool. And, we live in this crazy world. Everything is very chaotic. And so what families and children are experiencing is constant change and disruption, instability, uncertainty. I don't think they feel like they can count on things. Trends are moving fast. There's just constant change all the time. Like when you think about when you get a new cell phone, it's going to change, they get settled in one home with mom and then they have to go over to dad's house. It's like constantly moving. Families are disconnected and pulled apart. And that's hard on children. That's hard on people because they kind of can't feel safe and secure. Traditions, however, on the flip side, create predictability, which is not a bad thing, stability, familiarity. Children are raised with consistent traditions are more resilient, more grounded, more emotionally secure, because they go, oh, we can count on the fact that we're going to pull out this ornament. We're going to go get the tree here. We're going to, it's like, yeah, some years it might vary, but they have the sense that they know what's coming and that they can count on it. Oh, we're going to go to Mass on Christmas Eve. Oh, we're going to be a part of the Christmas pageant, at our school or at our church. We're going to do Advent. We're going to light those Advent candles. All those things really help children to feel really safe and secure. And as they get older, they can be a part of those different traditions in different ways. Mm-hmm. For a while when they're little small children, they're the receiver of a lot of things. And then as they get older, they can start being the one giving. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that happens a lot with families, which I think is really cool. So, how do you start traditions? Like what if you're a family, like you have children right now and you go, wow, I wasn't really raised with traditions. So, I don't really know what to do. You could start your own traditions, like maybe consciously sit down and think, or ask your parents or your grandparents, say, what did you used to do, Grandma or Mom, when you were a kid? Like, what were some of your favorite things? What were your traditions? Maybe your mom or grandma hasn't even thought to pass those things down. So ask, it's a good thing to ask questions, especially while your parents and grandparents are still aware. I know now my mom's getting older. Her 90th birthday is coming up, and there's time now where she has a good memory about a lot of things in the past, not so much in the present. But it's good to ask those things because you don't want to wait too long and then you don't know your family traditions. But, when you're coming up with some traditions, pick something simple. It can be something simple. It can be, oh, we're going to do this certain breakfast for Christmas morning. That'll be our tradition. Or we're going to, when we put up our Christmas tree, we're going to play Christmas music. We're going to have the tree going up. We're going to play a Christmas game or make ornaments to go on the tree. That can be your tradition. And then whatever it is, repeat. That's the whole thing, is you do it again next year, and everybody will be looking forward to it. You can add to the tradition if you want. Make sure you involve everyone, even your disgruntled teenager who doesn't want to be a part of something. Encourage them to come and participate. You don't have to harp on them, as long as they're maybe in the room, hopefully, and make it a no phone. When you're trying to make these traditions, try to limit that and the screens and have everybody be present. They certainly show up for presents, so they could be present for these family traditions, but involve everybody. Don't leave anybody out, and document it. I think that's important. I know I have my mom used to love to take photos. I definitely, my childhood was well documented. My children's childhood was extraordinarily well documented. So you're welcome, Taylor, Kaylee, and Cody. So I think that's important, because then you can look back and that helps jog your memory of what's something beautiful and wonderful about holiday time, your traditions. And that way also, like my kids look at photos of me when I was little. I know my daughter's children like to look at her when she was little and what she was up to and what she was doing. So that's fun. So there's different types of ways, to spark your inspiration. You can have rituals of preparation for Christmas, like Advent calendars, tree decorating, like we said, the Advent candle leading up to Christmas. Rituals of gathering, like Sunday dinners or brunches. Christmas Eve rituals, like going to midnight mass, or I like to go to Christmas morning mass. Those are rituals of gathering. There was another one I said earlier, and I don't remember what it was. Rituals of memory, like ornament stories. Like sometimes people collect ornaments, and they can talk as they're putting them on the tree. They can talk about their memories of that. Getting a new ornament every year could be something. Photo traditions, you know, a lot of people do family photos and they have like a particular thing they do every year. Rituals of giving, like acts of service, you know, teaching your children charity. My children used to give up 75% of their toys and give them to charity, and that became a tradition. Helping, you know, maybe going and serving the homeless, doing something, you know, that you look forward to every year as a family, that's giving to other people. And celebration memories, you know, like just recalling things, like every year, like, hey, remember last year when we did blah, blah, blah. That's really good. So that, all that being said, maybe that helps you to come up with some new traditions or to remember traditions you've had. And so let's bring back the traditions. Okay, Simon, let's talk about our holidays.
Okay.
So obviously, like I said, these traditions, celebrations are all important to family life, to memories and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling you earlier, I feel like you and I had childhood memories.
Mm-hmm.
We both have raised children, not with each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we have those memories of raising our children. And then we have our memories now.
Mm-hmm.
Now that we're just these two old, lonely, but no, I'm just kidding.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you your favorites of things or your memories of, and why these might prompt your memories.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So do you have any favorite Christmas food?
No,
Foods?
I don't.
No favorite Christmas.
We didn't. Excuse me. We never had Christmas dinner when I was growing up, so I don't really have any memories of that.
That's really interesting. When you told me that, I thought that was really interesting that you didn't have like a thing that you guys would eat for the holidays.
No, it was, you know, there was, you know, maybe some cookies or, you know, treats and things like that, you know, candy or candy canes or, you know, things like that. But we never had
like a traditional Christmas meal.
Never.
Or not even Christmas Eve.
No. We would go to Mass. That was like the central focus. You know, midnight Mass many times, and especially we would go Christmas morning always. But
you would go to both?
Sometimes.
Oh, wow.
I know my mom definitely would. Sometimes she'd go alone, and then, you know, she would go in the morning. But no food or anything like that. Yeah.
How about when you were raising your kids? Did you have like a certain kind of like Christmas dinner that they looked forward to?
I mean, when I was raising my kids, and, you know, probably the reason why, you know, we didn't have a lot of that was, you know, I had 8 brothers and sisters, and we weren't, you know, my parents struggled, and, you know, and I think I overcompensated probably with my kids and kind of like did the opposite and just gave them everything I had. And
so did you cook up a storm?
Sometimes, yeah. But it wasn't the, you know, the consistency that you speak of. It wasn't, I mean, I would do that, you know, many holidays. Sometimes I remember one time I said, you know what, guys, we're going to New York. And I just took the whole family to New York, and we had a, you know, real expensive holiday bash. But
regarding the food, like every year it would kind of vary. It wasn't like you said, oh, it's Christmas dinner, we're going to have this because it's Christmas dinner. It kind of varied.
Yeah.
And then I do know you really like to cook, and you like cook up a storm.
So and when I do that, I like to try different things.
Yeah.
And one year I did this, and next year I did that, you know, so. And my kids were, and when I was raising my kids, we're all vegetarian. So we, you know, whatever you could imagine a Christmas vegetarian meal looking like that.
Yeah. Interesting. I don't know what I imagine that being. I think that sounds sad.
Yeah. No, it was good. I would always come up with stuff, but you know, yeah.
So mine growing up, you know, the only thing I remember about Christmas dinner was we would eat ham. I'm not a big ham person, but it was good. And that my mom would make a beautiful dinner. It was lovely. I would call my Christmas dinner was more of like the British side, because like when we would go to my grandma's house, it was the same food. So I'm assuming that's what that was. So like ham and scalloped potatoes and, you know, rolls and that sort of meal. But Christmas Eve, we would have a traditional Italian vermicelli is what we called it. Now, I need that recipe and I need it straight away because I want to be sure that I can make it. And it's basically pasta with anchovy sauce.
Yeah.
And it's so good. It is so good. And that's what we would have every Christmas Eve without fail.
Okay.
And then I continued that on. I didn't continue it on, but when we would go have it with my parents, we would have that. I swapped it out when I was raising my kids for clam linguine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we had clam linguine every Christmas Eve. Love that. We need to get back to that because clam linguine for Christmas Eve is delightful. And so that's what we did. And then Christmas dinner, when I was raising my kids, I think we would go to my mom's, so we would just have the ham. The ham thing.
Okay.
And then, so, and then you and I don't really have a set thing we do because you do like to try different things.
Yeah.
I'm game. I would like to start doing the Christmas Eve thing, but other than that, Christmas Day, I'm game for whatever. And then how about do you have any memory or again, where it's when you were a child and then when you were raising your kids and now, any presents that were your favorite memory of a present where you were just oh my gosh, I love that thing?
No.
Oh my God.
I mean, we would normally, get things that we need. Like we need socks. Everybody needs, a sweater or something. It was kind of to the basics. I got, 3 pairs of underwear. I don't know, things like that. I wasn't, but I would get some toys and things. And, my parents did their best,
Yeah.
And it was a mixed bag. Sometimes it was I would get a Star Wars figurine that I just was, so stoked to have. But then some years, not a whole lot,
Yeah.
So it was, but nothing that was, nothing.
And then how'd that make you feel about just Christmas in general, where you go back to school and, especially in the town.
It was even before I would go back to school, because what it kind of made me, the whole Christmas season, I loved the Christmas season, and I really kind of created kind of a longing in me, because I wanted to have the traditional that I would see everybody kind of having with the trees and the tons of presents and all this. I wanted to have that. So I sort of went into those, I'd fantasize about things like that. And then I would, Christmas morning, I remember really distinctly seeing the neighborhood kids go out in the street and ride their new bikes or skateboard or some new thing, a remote control car or something, and I was just kind of looking through the window going, because I didn't have all that kind of stuff. But, but again, I did get some things that, it was really, my parents really, really struggled, and it was really, they did their best.
Yeah. Also, we were raised in a town that had a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so we didn't have 8 kids, and, we were, I would just say a normal middle class family, but I never felt like I got just anything and everything I wanted, certainly. I wasn't in the same boat as you, but I would look at other kids and go, oh, they got these pretty major things. But I was just so happy with I loved just the vibe of the whole
nice
thing,
vibe,
that I was happy with literally anything I got. I was just oh, this is great. And it wasn't over the top necessarily. It was more that I just liked the whole thing of just getting to open presents, and it was just something really special. And but it was more, I have more memories of the feeling of it all than I do the actual present.
Me too. That's I would say the same.
Yeah. So what was I gonna say? Oh, and then when you had your kids, so what was did you overcompensated there?
Yeah, I overcompensated.
You got a horse and a car.
Not a horse, but I mean, I remember.
Really? You did not get one of them a horse?
No, for Christmas, no. No. I mean, I never did. I do remember one Christmas I went absolutely nuts, absolutely crazy. I remember I bought a ride-on train. Then I made it with tracks, and it went through the entire house. And I remember just buying so many presents, and that was the year I took them to New York. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was.
How did you like the next year? What happened? Were they like, hey?
Yeah, I mean, I would work in the industry where it's feast and famine, and that year happened to be a good
Major feast.
Yeah, I remember
A gluttonous feast.
Yeah, I do remember like really going crazy.
Will you take me to New York for Christmas sometime? That's been my dream of my whole life.
Okay.
To go to New York on Christmas. I think that's going to work out.
Yeah.
For me. I have a feeling. I'm going to get that wish. Well,
yeah. So that, but that was I think that's a bad move. I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess I know why I would do that because, when you grow up like that, you want to give them what you didn't have. But that's not necessarily the right move.
Right.
Yeah, it needs to be more full of meaning, the things that you're describing. And I kind of missed the mark, I think.
Well, and then I'm just wondering the following year, like, did they expect that now every year that was going to be a thing?
No, my kids were never,
they were just
like that. Yeah.
They were just happy to go do that.
Yeah.
Well, and I was telling you when my children were really, really small, their dad and I, had no money. It was after my car accident. We were really struggling to pay all those doctor bills and hospital bills. We'd pay every month and our bills would go up somehow, which was shocking. But we just had nothing. And then when we did have money, we kind of did the same thing. We didn't go to New York, but we really went haywire on the Christmas presents because we could.
Yeah.
It was like we had gone from having zero to, being able to give them every toy in the store, sort of a thing.
Yeah.
That was a fun year.
Yeah.
Like, I think we did that one year.
Yeah.
And then it's not like we didn't do anything after that. It was just, that was how we kind of did that. And I just have to say, like, I felt like their dad and I had a really perfect way that we did Christmas with our children. I look back on it and I think it was meaningful to them. They, like I said, they would give up their toys. So that was a good charitable thing to do. So they learned to give. And then we did this thing, which I highly recommend. The Christmas Eve, in the middle of the afternoon, when nobody was around, we would give them their biggest and best present.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The thing that, it didn't have to be big and best. It was the thing we wanted that was the most important gift we wanted to give them. And that way they really focused on it.
Okay.
Because there wasn't anybody distracting them. They knew they were going to get one thing and we were going to choose it. They didn't get to choose under the tree. It was like, we presented them with their thing from us. That was that.
Okay.
And it meant more to them. And they had the whole afternoon and evening to focus on it without other things distracting them. And then we did Christmas Eve with my family, and my parents would come over and we'd exchange gifts and have a lovely Italian dinner. And then the next day we would, Santa would come and bring their Santa presents. Like when they woke up, there was a Santa present there. We did our stockings, which growing up, I love stockings more than the presents when I was little. Like the stockings had the best stuff in it. And then we do our stockings, we eat breakfast. And that was a big thing with my children is we had a traditional Christmas breakfast that they still do today. They're very into that. That tradition is one of the things that really stuck with them. Their dad would make this very particular breakfast. It never varied, and they loved that. And then we would do presents with their other grandparents, their dad's parents, and lay around all afternoon. So like the to pace it out like that was nice. They focused on who they were with. But the thing that the day before was like the key, because I just felt like it was just more meaningful to them, because you spend a lot of time like trying to, accommodate these things.
Yeah.
How about your favorite Christmas book?
Well,
Did you have a favorite Christmas book?
no. I mean, I know all of the traditional stories, like
Yeah.
Night Before Christmas.
How about now? Like if you were to look back now, or like, did you have one you read to your children?
I mean, I read them all those.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, like,
Did they have a favorite like that stuck out where it's like, you have to read me that?
no.
No?
No.
Ours is The Night Before Christmas.
Okay.
It was The Night Before Christmas.
Yeah.
And my mother read it. I have my original book from when I was little. And then I used to read that to my kids, but then I bought them the book that I would read to them. And the version, of it. And then Kaylee does that now. I need to make sure that Taylor and Chloe are doing that.
Yes.
Anyway, we have a certain particular version.
Okay.
But that's our family tradition, that particular book.
Yeah.
So I just remember my mom, I have a picture of me and my mom
Yeah.
curled up reading it.
I did one year write some stories about Christmas that I gave to my son for Christmas, and that's all. I didn't have any money. I was just really.
And it's about a Christmas mouse.
It was about a Christmas mouse.
Yes.
I did that one year.
Which I think you should publish and make, because everybody would like that Christmas book. Maybe
It's a sweet story.
Yeah, it's very sweet. It's very sweet and very well illustrated. Yes, beautiful. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah.
That'd be so great. Anyway, yeah, so that was kind of our tradition. How about a TV show?
Growing up?
Yeah.
Let's see. Well, I mean, like all the Christmas classic, like Rudolph and Santa Claus is Coming to Town and Frosty the Snowman and I don't know, all those, you mean? Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite.
I don't know that there was any other one.
Yeah. I don't know if I had a favorite, but I remember growing up with those.
So what I think is really interesting is that was such a time, like when we were little.
Yeah.
Those weren't before we were little. Those were what made when we were little.
Yeah.
And I think, I just found a set of those and I'm giving them to my grandchildren.
Oh, nice.
Because it's a whole set of them that I bought years ago. But for those of you who don't know, they're very campy.
Yeah.
They're very campy. And they're from the 60s, 70s.
60s and 70s, yeah. Yeah. I do think that
I like Rudolph.
Growing up, my mom is a big classic movie connoisseur. She got me really into that, and so I did used to watch, all the classic, adult Christmas, movies like.
But we're not movies yet. We're TV shows.
Oh, TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know that past those. I guess one of my points is past those that we just talked about, Rudolph, Frosty the Snowman, which was more of a cartoon. But the other ones were like that. I don't even know what they were made with. It's not claymation. What was it?
Oh, it's just stop motion.
Stop motion. What were there other TV shows? I'm trying to think. I feel
I mean, there's animation, like Charlie Brown Christmas. I remember.
Oh, yeah, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah, and that was a good one because I heard a story. I'm gonna probably get it a little bit wrong, but he has that scene at the end where they're talking about the birth of Christ, and
Right.
they're literally reading
Right.
Luke.
Yeah, they're reading Luke.
Yeah, we're reading Luke, and I know that CBS at that time, it was like an absolute no. We're not doing this. We're not going to. And he said, okay, well,
Charles Schultz
said that that's the only reason. That's the only way he'll do it is if they allow him to have those biblical references in that scene. And so, and it ended up being like a major hit.
Yeah, huge hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot all about that. So I would say that's my favorite TV show is the Charlie Brown Christmas. Because it's a TV. That was not a movie. It was a TV. And it's even back when I wasn't a religious little child.
Right.
I just remember, first of all, I love Charlie Brown. I love Snoopy.
Yeah.
It's a very sweet little story.
Yeah.
But the fact that Linus stops everything, they all stop.
Right.
And listen to him. He's not reading it. He's saying it.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful that in his cute little voice.
Yeah. I think what I like about it so much is, I mean, I'm kind of a Charlie Brown person.
Except you're not bald.
No, but you know, I just my way of my demeanor and all this.
Okay.
So you know, he's always has this angst. You know,
Yeah.
he's always like searching, and that whole thing is just searching for the meaning of Christmas.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's a great one. Charlie Brown Christmas. Oh, that makes Simon tear up a little bit. Oh, if you're Charlie Brown, does that mean I'm Lucy or Peppermint Patty?
No, don't be Lucy. You're so mean. Don't be Lucy.
I am so mean. You're right. You just said
No,
you're so
don't be.
mean.
No, you're not. You're not mean. I'm saying you're not Lucy.
Okay. Okay. Now movie.
Okay. Well, like I said, when I grew up, my mom would always watch the classics. The Bishop's Wife, It's a Wonderful Life. What's the one about the angel? There's so many classic films that my mom would show. You know.
Yeah. So you guys would watch those.
We would watch those. So growing up, we didn't always have a television growing up. So what would happen is my mom, she would record, like we had VCRs back then, so she would, you know, record whenever they would play, and so then she would have a, you know, like a video cassette if we didn't have cable or something. So yeah, we would always, you know, watch those classic films.
And then how about your kids? Like, did you have a movie that you like to watch with them every year?
We would just go through all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and I'll tell mine and then we'll say what we do now. But when I was little, I don't remember watching Christmas movies. I'm trying to think. That doesn't occur to me. Like, I don't remember sitting and watching a Christmas movie. The TV shows, yeah, but I don't remember watching any Christmas movies. And then when my children were being raised, I had a tradition where we would watch the new Miracle on 34th Street, not the old one, the new one, on Thanksgiving night. They very begrudgingly would watch that with me. They didn't like the bad guys in it, like that it irritated them, but I loved that. And then they would watch White Christmas with their dad. That's his favorite. And I always loved Home Alone and Home Alone 2. And one of the reasons is my dad absolutely adored Home Alone. Like I can hear him today just laughing his head off. He thought that was the funniest, greatest movie. So Home Alone 2. The Grinch, Cody was very, very, very into the Grinch, so much he painted his room Grinch green. Lime green was his room.
Jeez.
Yeah. And so the Grinch was a big thing with my kids. So we watched, those were like basically what we watched. I didn't watch any of the classic ones, like except for White Christmas. It was more about those. That's what my memory is with my children. And then you and I now, because you've since I've been with you, you know, you've taken me a lot of places that I never had been before, and I eat different food with you than I normally do, and definitely movies, because obviously you're a filmmaker, so you have a different, you know, so you'll just put on a movie. So like, I've never seen It's a Wonderful Life. I've never seen The Bishop's Wife. I'd never seen the old version of Miracle on 34th Street. I hadn't seen any of those. And so now I think, you know, like that's what we like to watch now. Is like, we'll say, okay, for Christmas time, we're going to watch these different movies. And I think that the thing that has struck me about them is they're made back in the day when you could actually have God in the movies.
Right.
You could actually have reference to the Lord. You could have people praying. You could have, there's so many things that strikes me now where I'm just like, that's what we're missing, like in a lot of movies,
right?
You know, and it's like, that was a part of their life.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like they shoved it in there because they had to, or it was done by a certain production company that would only do religious movies. That was their life back then.
Right.
He was present in the schools. He was present in their family life. They went to church. They ate dinner as a family and did grace before dinner.
Right.
They called on the Lord when they needed something. And so that's, you know, and then when you look at the overall theme of a lot of those movies, they're about goodwill towards other people, charity, helping others, finding the meaning of life. Another one we watched that I never saw was A Christmas Carol. I only saw Mickey's Christmas Carol. Literally.
Yeah.
That was the only Christmas Carol version I'd seen, you know? So I think that's what, when you and I are watching movies, I love them because they have the Lord is present in them. They have that lesson, that spirit, that I, you know, like I was asking you earlier, what modern day movies are there about Christmas that people go, we're going to sit down and watch this movie? If it's not before 1992, there isn't anything but The Holiday. I don't know of another movie where I just know there's so many people like me who love the movie The Holiday. It has nothing to do with God.
Right.
But it's like, it's the only movie I can think of that's a Christmas movie where people go, oh, we got to sit down and watch that.
Yeah, I will say this. This is kind of weird because I totally forgot. And you know this, and some of your viewers might know. But, you know, I do really love this Christmas season. And I do love it so much. And it's kind of like a secret thing because, you know, I watch these Hallmark movies year round.
Oh, yeah. For my new listeners, Simon loves the Hallmark movies.
Yeah, well, the Christmas
Hallmark movies, and he does watch them all year.
Yeah, I watch them all year. Yeah. And, you know, there's something, nothing ever goes wrong. You know, there's always a problem, but it gets solved in the best way. You know, it's always just, you know, it's you're guaranteed to just feel good, you know, at the end. So.
Wait, you have to tell them when you're sitting watching one, and you'll say, tell them how you say it to me.
Well, I'll be working and I'll have it in the background. I don't know. You know,
you say, Lori, there's really bad thing happening for
No, I'll say, you know what? You know, the guy from out of town is, you know, the lumberjack, you know, and the girl from the New York City. They clashed and. Whatever.
Now, what's going to happen? How will they ever work this out? Yeah. And then there's cookies involved, and
there's always a coffee shop. Somebody always owns a bakery, you know. And you know what's interesting about all of those, most all of them, is and it's overlooked. Nobody says anything, but most often they're all nuclear families. None of them are divorced. You know, it's always, there's mom and there's dad. And nowadays, like I know, you know, even my kids have like 3-4 Christmases.
Yeah.
They got to go to grandpa's and they got to go to grandma's, and then she's remarried twice.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like so splintered. Yes. You know, and it's exhausting.
Yes.
You know, for kids to go through that. And so I think it's been like watered down.
Yes.
And that's why these, you know, Hallmark, thank you, Hallmark. You know, anyways.
Hey, and that goes back to having traditions, having things that make you feel safe and secure.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And that being said, the other thing about having like favorite movies, I think there's been studies done where it's like the reason that we go back to these movies, like I'll watch the same movie 15,000 times because I love it. I feel safe in it. I know what's going to happen. The old rom-coms, the good rom-coms, it's a similar thing as the Hallmark, is that you go into it, there's a little bit of angst, and then you know that it's going to have a happy ending and you feel secure in that. Same thing with these old traditional movies. Again, I want to say 1992, ultimately they have such a good feeling where you walk away going, I want to do better. I want to treat other people more nicely. I want to be more charitable. I'm going to pray to the Lord and he's going to help me.
Right.
He's a part of my life.
Yeah.
You know, I can count on this. You know, or you watch these movies and the families are together and that there's a safety and a love and a security in all that. And so, you know, just because, like, if you imagine that our world is like a flag that's just blowing in the wind, if you can imagine pulling it in and like making it tight and secure, that's what we need to do with our families, our holidays, our traditions. Our children need it. Our children need safety and security. And I mean, I know we have a lot of chaos because our family is splintered on. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
That's just how it's turned out. And, you know, but I think if you have consistency as best you can, and then moving forward, try to have traditions, try to have these things that make us all happy and secure, helping other people. And of course, you know, this is the birth of our Lord Jesus, and, you know, to be reverent in that, go to Mass as a family.
Yeah, I am really encouraged. I think you've done a really good job with your traditions and so forth. And I know your kids, Kaylee specifically, is really striving to just really love her family and celebrate her family as a nuclear family. And they're, you know, they've been married how long?
15
years and have 5 kids also.
Yeah.
I know my daughter's doing the same thing with her family.
Yeah.
You know, they're really focused on their family, and that really encourages me.
And Taylor and Chloe, their children.
Yeah.
So all of our grandchildren, I feel like the 3 of our 7 children who have children are really, and for that matter, you know, Cody, who's the uncle of the 5 children, or uncle of the 7 children, he's very good about being involved in the traditions. Like, you know, he does certain things that Kaylee doesn't do for them, you know. So I think that is really important that they're doing that. It makes me happy. I know it makes you happy. I'm trying to pass some things down. Like I you know, gifted your grandchildren with one of my nativity sets. Which is a very important nativity to me, but I wanted them to have that. I gifted Kaylee and the children my Christmas village that I hand painted myself for physical therapy. And it's this beautiful little village. And so that made me really happy. Like, you know, to pass these things on, you know, I think that's a really beautiful part about it.
Right.
And you and I don't have a lot of, you know, money to spoil our children and grandchildren with, but we do have a lot of love. I do think we have things that we can give them that don't have to do with money, but hopefully they'll remember us for, you know, things that
other things.
For other things. So, you know, if you're out there and you're not able to splurge a lot, that's okay. There's other things you can do that will
just
be
showing
more
up,
just showing up. And, you know, honestly, like I said before, when you look back on different things, you don't always necessarily go, oh, well, I remember when my grandfather bought me this thing.
Right.
It's more about the showing up. It's more about the consistency. It's more about the love. Like my little Italian grandpa who had nothing. And I would show up at his house, you know, after ice skating, and he had a little pink box. And you know, it was in a little pink box. It was a little pastry, you know, and he would, blind as he was, he would wander up to the bakery and buy me this little thing in a little pink box. And it was just the consistency, and like he put pennies in a penny jar. It's like it I loved him for that, you know. And so, you know, show up, be present. You being present is the best present. Okay, that's a great way to end that episode. Okay, well, thank you for coming today, Simon. I look forward to our next episode about the new year. Okay, everybody. We here at Fresh Catholic, Simon, me, Charles Merritt, that's our Fresh Catholic team. We all wish you a very, very beautiful, blessed, and Merry Christmas. And we will talk to you soon, and go just spread love and joy, and just go to Mass and pray for our world, and also just focus on Jesus and his birth. I'll talk to you later. Do you want to say anything?
No.
Thank you. Love you. Bye. Thank you for joining me today. Now go out and be a bright light in someone's life. And remember, be focused, be faithful, and be fresh. Fresh Catholic is produced, edited, and recorded in Ventura, California.